Good morning, beloveds. I'm having an odd morning. I woke up at 6, not with my alarm, because I normally get up at 6, around between 6 and 6:30, and it was lightning. There was a lot of lightning and a lot of thunder, and so I was like, okay, rolled back over. My husband had turned my alarm off since it's Labor Day, and I am not going to work today. And I rolled over and went back to sleep. Well, ish, because there was a lot of lightning and a lot of thunder. I never heard any rain. It does look like we got some rain, but not a whole lot. And so finally at 7:45, I was like, or excuse me. Yeah, no, 7:45. I gave up and got up. I still haven't been outside, although I do have my windows open. And I'm thrilled to have my windows open. There's a cat in one. There's been a couple of cats in the windows. Because it's actually it's in the lower 70s. I know it's not going to stay that way. It's going to get up into the 90s, but I'm going to enjoy it while I can. And let the cats enjoy it while they can. And it's quiet in the neighborhood. I still intend to go for a bike ride, but I figured I would do this first so that this wasn't incredibly late. And then I'm going to go for it because it's cloudy. There's no sun out there. It's a very thick layer of clouds. But no thunder, no lightning. It looks like the weather that was causing that has moved south. So it's a backwards morning. I got up, fed the cats. I got up late, fed the cats. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to go engage my mind and my body. So, but it's still cool, and the sun isn't completely oppressive yet. So I hope that you are having a good Labor Day as well, because that's the reason that I'm not going to work. It's Labor Day, and I am not going to labor, which is not true. I have some stuff around the house that needs doing. Whether or not it'll get done, that'll be the question. All right, it is September 6th. I live eternally in the household of God. And our quote is, "The perfect man, along with other men, gets his food from the earth and derives his joy from his heaven." And that is Wang Zi. If you want to look it up, it is KWANG-TZE. So I'm not familiar with that one. I love that they pull out quotes that I've never heard of. Or philosophers that I've never heard of. You live in the house of God. The household of God is a household of perfection. It is the secret place of the Most High within you and within all. The inmates of this household are all divine. They will become as divine to you as you permit. As you look at them, they look at you. For this is the way of life. Everything responds to you at the level of your recognition of it. In the household of God, there is no jealousy, no littleness or meanness. It is a household of joy, a place of happiness and contentment. Here is warmth, color, and beauty. Seen in this light, your earthly house symbolizes the kingdom of divine harmony in which no one is a stranger. Say, nothing is alien to me. Nothing enters into my experience but joy, integrity, and friendship. The good I would realize for myself, I realize for all others. I cannot desire good for myself other than the good I desire for everyone else. I know that in the household in which I live, the host is God, the living Spirit Almighty, and the guests are all his people. The invitations have been eternally written for all to enter and dwell therein as the guests of this eternal host forever. All right. So I live eternally in the household of God, which we do. We do. We live eternally in the household of God. Because everything is made of God by God. So everywhere you look is the household of God. The question becomes, what have we done with our corners of it? I mean, honestly, I read things like this and I look around in my house and go, well, I'm not living up to the household of God. And sometimes I look around at some of the things that we've done in the material world and go, we're not living up to the household of God. We're not. And what am I going to do about that? What am I going to do about that? Well, I'm going to do what it suggests in here. I'm going to know good for myself, and I'm going to know the good that I want everybody else to have too. So there's that. But it was interesting because if I refer back to yesterday's service, that's what Jesse was talking about. It's like, well, what do we do about it? It's like, well, we treat and then we move our feet. We have to do our part too. So if the household of God that you are living in does not resonate up to the standards that you think it should, what is your part in that? Now, that doesn't mean that you have to go out and fix the world. It doesn't. But it does mean that we are obligated and responsible for doing our part, whatever that part is. And for me today, that probably looks like I need to do a little house cleaning. I need to clear my clutter a little bit. Because if I clear my physical clutter, it'll also help clear some of the clutter up here. And then it will help me to make better decisions. And recognize the clutter in my world. So, and I have said this before about when we look around at our physical spaces and see God's stuff, at least with me, it does encourage me to treat my stuff better, to take better care of it. Now, I've always taken pretty good care of my stuff, but I have a tendency to let some of it lie around a little bit, and that's one of the things that I am working on. So, it's like, I don't need this anymore. Let me let go because somebody else can use it more than I can. So, I live eternally in the household of God. I frequently joke about knowing where I live when I'm referring to the weather. Well, in this case, that's one of the things that we want to know. I live eternally in the household of God. My home is in God. My home is in spirit. The perfect man, along with other men, gets his food from earth and derives his joy from heaven. We're fed here, but our joy, that comes from within. There's a meme with the little creature carrying around a pot that says happiness, and another creature comes up to him and says, "Where did you find that?" And the creature says, "I made it myself." Joy comes from within. Happiness comes from within. It's not found out in the stuff. You live in the house of God. The household of God is a household of perfection. The household of God is a house of wholeness. It means it's all included. It is the secret place of the Most High within you and within all. It's all included, and it's found right here, right now, always. You can never be excluded from the house of God. You can never be excluded from the house of God. You can create the illusion of the separation, but you cannot be excluded. And no one can exclude you because it's right here within you. So anybody who has ever told you you're not welcome in the house of God, they're wrong. Just straight up wrong. The inmates of this house are all divine. They will become as divine to you as you permit. It is about your willingness to recognize. It is about your willingness to recognize the divinity within yourself and the divinity around you. To look in each other's eyes and see God looking back at you. As you look at them, they look at you, for this is the way of life. Everything responds to you at the level of your recognition of it. So it is about willingness. It's about willingness to see the divine looking back at you. It's about willingness to see the divine all around you. It's about the willingness to look at a situation and see God in the situation. And then when you see God in a situation, especially a less than pleasant situation, to pull God out in that situation, to recognize that God is there, and to help pull God more fully into the experience of everybody in that situation. Because that's one of the things that will make a situation that is not preferred better. I'm not going to say it's going to make it great. There may be more work to do, but to recognize that God is there, that God hasn't abandoned us. That sets us on the path of making it better. In the household of God, there is no jealousy, no littleness, no meanness, because we recognize the oneness. It is a household of joy, a place of happiness and contentment. Here is warmth, color, and beauty. Seen in this light, your earthly house symbolizes the kingdom of divine harmony in which no one is a stranger. That's the line that made me look around my house going, I have some work to do. My house is my sanctuary, but I frequently am embarrassed to let people in it because I'm an artist and I'm messy. Much to the frustration of my husband. I'm clean, I'm just messy. And I hate dusting. I hate dusting with a passion. Okay, so this is the treatment part of this section, because in September that's what he's doing. He's giving us 1 to 2 paragraphs of straight up, use this as a treatment. They are affirmations, they are power statements, they are say, and he says it. So say, nothing is alien to me. Nothing enters into my experience but joy, integrity, and friendship. It does mean that I am using my God-given filter to make choices about the people around me and the things that I do, to make sure that what I encounter is joy, integrity, and friendship. Is that my everyday experience? No. But is it more of my experience than not? Yes. Because I have made choices about who is around me. And it also means that I make choices when I interact with people. Because in my job, I don't have control over who walks through that door. But I do have control over how I interact with them. And I can go a long way to influencing how an interaction goes. But I can also influence how long or short the interaction is. So if it is an unpleasant interaction, then I have ways of kindly cutting it off and making it shorter. The good I would realize for myself, I realize for all others. We are all one. So what I want for myself, I want for everyone. And believe me, I want everybody to be happy and joyful because it makes my life more pleasant. I cannot desire good for myself other than the good I desire for everyone else. We're all one. I know that in the household in which I live, the host is God, the living Spirit Almighty. Okay, so I know who the host is. I know who created the house that I live in. The guests are all God's people. God created every single... You will never look in the eyes of someone God does not love, including yourself. The invitation has been eternally written for all to enter and dwell therein as guests of this eternal host forever. I don't have the right to tell anybody that they can't come into the house of God. But that also means that no one has the right to tell me I can't come into the house of God. Because the house of God is built right here, right now, right within me. I carry it within me, as do you. And so, when it comes to religion, when it comes to spirituality, we all have a piece of the truth. We all have a piece of the truth. And when we cooperate and get together and look at each other's pieces, it's better. But I will go back to the quote, and I forget who said it. There are millions of paths to the top of the mountain. The only person who is wrong is the one running around the bottom telling everybody else that they're wrong. No one can deny you your place in the house of God. No one. Not even yourself. You cannot deny yourself that place in the house of God. You can make it difficult for yourself, but that place is yours. And when you're ready, it'll be waiting. So if you're not ready to enter into the house of God, you're not ready to live there, it'll be waiting. You can't take it away. And no one can take it away from you. So when people tell you that, that's when you can look them in the eye and tell them that they're wrong. Now, you may not want to do it out loud. Because that can start all kinds of religious, nonsense that's just not worth having. If somebody comes to you and tells you you can't have a place at the table of God, turn around, walk away. Do not engage them in discussion. Because they're fighting a point that they have no right to fight. There's no point in engaging it. Just walk away. You have a place at the table. Always. Because you are a beloved child of God in whom God is well pleased, always and forever. All right. Was there a mission in there? Did we hear one? Not really. I guess if I pull a mission directly from here, it would be this one. Our mission today, should we choose to accept it, is the good I would realize for myself, I realize for all others. And the good that I would realize today is for everyone to know that they live in the house of God. They absolutely live in the house of God. That they are welcome here. That they're welcome here. That the host is joyful to see them. Because the host is God. And God made them. So of course the host is happy to see them. That would be the mission today. Sometimes they're clear cut. Sometimes I'm like, today is more existential and let's pull it out. All right, beloveds. I think I am going to go for that bike ride. Let's see if I can get the bike out of the garage. We need to have our garage doors fixed. They don't raise and lower to a button. So, yeah. All right. I encourage you, as I always do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself. Whatever that looks like. Whatever that looks like. Today, I let myself sleep in. I did this before I went and engaged my mind and my body, but I am going to go and engage my mind and my body. I'm going to turn on my GPS and go and make a new pattern in my neighborhood and have some fun. And then we'll see. We'll see what else happens today. I have a hamstring that really hates me right now, and I need it to relax. That's the other reason why I'm going to go for a bike ride. Because it's interfering with my ability to walk, and I'm not enjoying that at all. There may be a doctor's appointment in my future here. Sports medicine! Yay! All right, beloveds. Do something to engage your mind and your body. I would tell you to go get a face full of sun, but if you live here, there is no sun this morning. But you can still go get a little bit of light. It is Labor Day. Don't labor. Do something that is fun for you. Do something that takes care of you. Do something that engages you. Don't labor. Rest. I'm not telling you not to work, but I am telling you not to labor. Let the work that you do come gently, come easily, come from a place within. And drink plenty of water. All right? Open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you do live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around us. As we learned today, we live in the house of God, and it is up to us to recognize it, up to us to see it, up to us to recognize our host, and up to us to see that all of the guests have a seat at the table. No one is left out. No one is left out. All right, beloveds. I assume Reverend David will be on Facebook Live around 5 p.m. with you. And I hadn't heard that the book study today, which is the one in Tennessee, as far as I know, that's going on. So if you're interested in that, or we've got about 3 book studies going on. There are prayer circles going on at all times. If you want access to any and all of that, please check out the email at info@creativelife.org. Get on the newsletter. And there's a whole lot of stuff on the YouTube channel, the Creative Life Spiritual Center YouTube channel. And if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, then there's a lot of stuff on the Facebook page too, which is the Creative Life Spiritual Center. And if you catch us on Instagram, that's the Creative Life Spark. As of right now, the Running Rev Ryan that's the same for Instagram, YouTube, and the Facebook. The Facebook's not terribly active, but the Instagram can be, and there's a lot of stuff on the YouTube, including this. All right, beloveds, do what you need to do to make it a fantastic day. Know that you're loved. Know that you're loved. Know that you will always have a place at the table. Know that you are always welcome in the house of God. All right, beloveds, have a wonderful day, a great day, an amazing day, a fantastic day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. Simply have a day. All right. Know that you're loved, and I will see you next time.